there, it's Nina with Walla Stamping. Thanks for joining me today. So this is the project that I'm going to be sharing with you, and it is a Ghirardelli chocolate bar, and it's the large size one. I think it's like 3.5 ounces or something like that. But anyways, the bar is like 3.5 inches wide and 7.5 inches long, somewhere in that ballpark. So when you're at the grocery store or whatever, when you see these larger size Ghirardelli candy bars, you'll know when you see it, I promise. So I decided to wrap the package in some designer series paper, but then make another little slider box to put that into, and then decorate the outside of that with a little belly band. And then I embellished it with several scallop circles that is done with Calypso coral, lemon lime twist, tempting turquoise, and then I finished it off with some whisper white. So we can get started making this project. Let me tell you what all you've got to have. So you're going to start out with a piece of tempting turquoise, and this is a full sheet. It's 8.5 by 11, and then I'm going to be using the Birthday Memories Designer Series paper to wrap around that. I used it on this one too, but I'm not crazy about the stripe with the circles, so I'm going to give this one a try. Then you'll want, for the belly band, a piece of whisper white. This is 8.5 by 3.5, and then to make all of these little scallop circles, you'll start out with Calypso coral, 3.5 by 3.5, lemon lime twist, 3 by 3, some tempting turquoise, 2.25 by 2.25, and whisper white, 2 by 2. We'll begin by doing our scoring. So on the 11-inch side, you will score at 3 inches, and then 3 3/8, 7, 7 3/8. Then we'll turn our paper a quarter turn to the left. We're going to score at 5/8 of an inch, and then at an inch. Now what I'm going to do is turn my paper back around this way, where the last score lines I just made are right here to the right, and I'm just going to make a little mark right there at 3.5, flip my paper over upside down, and make another little mark at 3.5. And I know you've seen me do this before, but I have this little white line going down the center of my scoreboard. That little mark I just made, I'm going to line up right there with that white line. And then where this score line is here, the first one you come to, I'm going to line that one up as well, and then make a diagonal score line. Now these are just for a cutting reference. You could use a pencil and a ruler if you want to, but I just feel like I do better when I cut along a score line than a pencil line. So all I did was shifted it to the other side, and I just did the same thing. So you'll have a diagonal score line there and there. You can go ahead and fold and burnish all of your score lines now. So on these diagonal lines that we made, just cut right along that score line on both sides. And then we have this. So we're going to keep these two pieces right here, but everything else to the left of that, there's 2 small squares here, 2 really long rectangles, 2 small ones, and 2 long ones. All that's going to get cut away. When you're finished with your cutting, this is what you're going to be left with. Now I will recommend that this little tab down here, that you just cut a little wedge out of each side, because it is going to get tucked up inside. Then all you have to do is flip this over and add some adhesive. So since I'm looking at the inside of that, as you may be able to tell, this little flap here is a little bit smaller than this one. So I'm going to add my fast fuse right here on this edge. Then when I fold it over, I'm just going to line that cut edge up even with that folded edge. put some, whoops, I almost put that in the wrong place. I want the adhesive right here. You don't have to put adhesive down here if you don't want to, but this candy bar is a little bit heavy. I don't want to take a chance on it falling out. So we're finished with this for the moment. I'm just going to slide that out of the way, and we'll work on our belly band next. We're going to make our own designer series paper. I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. The ink colors that we're going to use is Tempting Turquoise, Lemon Lime Twist, and Calypso Coral. The stamp set that I'm using today is A Good Day. Really super duper cute. I really like this a lot. I think, in my own opinion, that you could use this for so many different occasions. Easter comes to mind because of the little bunny, and then there's like a little lemonade and ice cream and the sentiments. I think that you could use this for Valentine's, birthdays, all sorts of different occasions this could be used for. So we're going to use this stamp right here and this one right here. I'm going to start off with this stamp that just has the little dotted stitch looking lines on it. I'm going to start with my Lemon Lime Twist and just randomly stamp all over my paper. Now once I get done with the Lemon Lime Twist, I'm going to move on to my Tempting Turquoise, and then I'll finish up with the Calypso Coral. Now I will warn you, these two little spots right here came because I pressed down too hard on this stamp, and it's got a solid center, which means when you ink it up, some of your ink is going to get in the middle there. So when you use this stamp, use a light hand, and I pushed too hard and some of that ink got right there, but I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to let it go. So while I have my ink out, I'm going to go ahead and reopen my Tempting Turquoise. I'm going to grab my little piece of Whisper White, my Tempting Turquoise, and just stamp that right in the center of that Whisper White. Now to score the belly band, put it in so that 8 1/2 is across the top. Score at 2 1/8, then 2 1/2, then 6 1/8, and 6 1/2. Now I've got my designer series paper, and what I'm going to have to do, since I only have one of these candy bars, is take that out and use it for this example. So I'm going to take this piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to start out with lining that up pretty much in the center of the back of this candy bar. And I'll wrap it around and kind of pinch as I go to know where I need my score lines to be. And as I work my way around, I'll pinch it, and then I'm going to remove it and make those corners nice and crisp. Take my fuse, and I'm just going to put 2 or 3 pieces down through there. Now to make this stick to the back of the candy bar, you can put a little bit of adhesive on there if you want to. You don't have to. And there's the belly band. I'm going to go ahead and slide this into the candy bar pocket. So there we go. That part is done. Now the next thing that I want to do is get all of my circles cut out. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot real quick. And then I'll start out by using the next to, oh, I didn't tell you, did I? Layering Circles Framtlits dies is what I'm using. I'm going to start out with the next to the smallest scallop circle and get my sentiment cut out. But since that is so small, I'm going to go ahead and cut out a couple of other pieces as well. I'm going to use my third from the smallest scallop circle with my Tempting Turquoise. And I believe that I can get my Lemon Lime Twist on there also. And I'll be using the fourth from the smallest scallop circle. Let me make sure I'm telling you right. Yep, this should be the fourth scallop circle. On the Calypso Coral, I'm going to be using the next to the largest scallop circle. So now what I'm going to do is use my dimensionals And I'm going to pop up all of these on dimensionals. So now I have my little medallion made. I've got my belly band ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that on there. Make sure it's going to fit okay. Looks like it's going to be fine. So I'm going to put some fast fuse right down where that edge is. Fold those together and stick that down. Fold that back over, and I'm actually going to use some more dimensionals to put that on top of the box. Okay, so we're going to put that right in the center there. Then I have a piece of my lemon lime twist ribbon, and if you saw my video from a few days ago, you probably saw my homemade bow maker that I made out of chipboard. Well, I'm not going to bring that out today because this ribbon, believe it or not, is one that I have no trouble tying a bow with, so I can just tie it in the air just like that. So to stick this bow down, and before I do that, I guess I should trim these off because they don't need to be that long. I'm going to use mini glue dots, and typically you could just put one in the center and call it done, but a lot of times I like to put one on both of these little ribbon tails, and that way once I stick my bow down in the center, then I can kind of manipulate where I want those tails to go, and they'll stay in that place. Now we are not done yet. You could leave it just like this if you want to, but I have to bling it up a little bit. So I got the Tutti Frutti sequins, and I've got the lemon lime twist, and I cannot remember what color this is. I will have it in the instruction sheet that you can get over on my blog at wallastamping.com. So if you would like to have an instruction sheet with a list of supplies as well as all of the dimensions and how to put this together with a diagram that shows you where to score and where to put adhesive and all that good stuff, then just go on over to wallastamping.com and I will have that available for printing over there for you. So as you can see, I'm taking these sequins and I'm just randomly placing them everywhere all over the front of this Handmade Designer Series paper. You can just put them wherever you like. I'm thinking maybe one more right there. Now, you could leave it like this, but I don't particularly love the hole in the middle of the sequin, so I'm taking the smallest of my rhinestones and I'm putting a rhinestone in the center of each of those sequins. Now this can be too over the top blingy for you, I get it. If you're not a sparkly loving, glittery loving person like I am, you probably will be satisfied with not putting these on there at all. And I think the package is cute without them, but I just wanted to add a little something extra. And so this is what I decided to do. Alrighty, and then of course I didn't stop there. I decided to put a couple, 3, whatever, little sequins on some of these stacked up. Let's see, do I want another one? Maybe one right there on that little medallion. Okay, let me get all these out of the way, and there's a runaway rhinestone right there. Okay, so I don't have my candy bar to put back in here because I only had the one, but we can still put that little pocket back in there and you can see what it would look like. All right. So here we go, both of the boxes completed. Now that I'm looking at the two of them together, I do think that I like the stripe paper for the candy bar better than the polka dot. They're both fine. I didn't think that I would like that stripe as much as the polka dot, but now seeing them both completed, I'm really leaning toward this one. So don't you think that this is a very fun and festive and bright little way to wrap up a candy bar and give it as a gift to somebody? And you know, of course I realize that giving someone a candy bar is not something you're going to do for a major birthday or anything like that. But you could use this for Valentine's if you wanted to. I mean, there's lots of reasons to give somebody a little pick-me-up treat like this. If you haven't seen it already, this is my customer appreciation gift for the month of January. I have a little kit put together for this box. It contains the gable box, the ribbon, both of the ovals, which is done in Berry Burst and Whisper White, and then a piece of the Sweet Soiree Specialty Designer Series paper. So if you shop with me during the month of January and your purchase is $50 or more before tax and shipping, then you will get one of these as a thank you gift from me in the mail. And I'm leaving it in a kit form so that if you decide to change out the paper, you can. So when you go over and get your instruction sheet for this project, make sure you go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. You'll get free tutorials, exclusive tutorials that you won't see anywhere else, and I'd also love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope that it has inspired you to create this for someone that you feel like needs a pick-me-up, or somebody you just want to let them know that they're special to you. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.